Did you know that in Norse mythology, the world ends only to be born again? Hello and welcome to World History Encyclopedia. My name is Kelly, and today we're going to take a good look at the gods and goddesses, myths and legends of Norse mythology. Don't forget, the easiest way to support us is by giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel so you don't miss out on our new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Norse mythology was the belief of the people of Scandinavia during the Viking Age between around 790 and 1100 CE. It consisted of a cosmology or story of the beginning of the universe, 9 realms of the world tree Yggdrasil, and the end of the world, known as Ragnarok. What remains of textual sources of Norse mythology is only the very surface of the history, since at the time, Scandinavia was primarily an oral society. Much of the works which remain to us are the Eddic and Scandic poetry, which are 2 different types of poetry from the region, and are written with the assumption that the audience is already familiar with the stories of the gods and goddesses. The concept of sitta, which translates to our notion of custom, is the closest to the idea of religion that the Scandinavians had, and Norse mythology was an integrated part of the people's daily lives. Gods and goddesses were venerated, and archaeology shows personal devotion to specific gods as well as community cult activity. Ritual observance was dynamic, with many local variations, but over time, they seem to have become more static and standardized. Like other cultures, there are multiple different versions of the creation myth, and one version is that at the beginning there were 2 realms, one of icy cold called Niflheim, and one of fire called Muspelheim, and in between there was Ginnungagap, the empty void. Although they were separated, the fire and ice of the 2 realms met, and from this 2 figures emerged, Ymir, the proto-giant, and the cow, Odin. From Ymir's armpits, a female and a male emerged, the first of the race of giants. Odin licked the ice, and thus emerged Bruri, the forefather of the gods. The son of Bruri, Bor, and the giant daughter Bestla sired the first gods, Odin, Vili, and Uv. From the sires of Ymir, the 3 gods thought the giant would be perfect to form the world. So they killed him and used his remains to create the world. The earth from his flesh, the sky from his skull, mountains from his bones, and the sea from his blood. Remember, this is only one version of the myth, and there are too many other variations to list in just one video. From tree trunks, the first humans were created, and were named Ask and Embla. They were given life by Odin, a mind by Vili, and the ability to hear, speak, and see by Uv. They named the kingdom made for the humans Midgata, which translates to middle place, and is often referred to as Middle Earth. Yes, J.R.R. Tolkien took much inspiration from Norse mythology. With humans popping up everywhere, time had well and truly begun, and the axis of this was Yggdrasil, the world tree. The Yggdrasil stands in the home of the gods, Asgard, and its roots encompass the 8 other realms, including Midgata. At the base of Yggdrasil, the 3 fates known as the Norns spin the fates of the humans, and the dragon of death called Nidhogg chomps at the world tree's roots. In addition to the dragon of death and the giant tree, there was also the Jormungandr, or Midgard serpent, that coiled its way around the world in the surrounding sea. Eventually, chaos and destruction would engulf the world, known as Ragnarok, the final destiny of the gods, or Twilight of the gods. It begins with a terrible winter. Then the earth sinks into the sea, and the wolf Fenrir breaks free and devours the sun. Fenrir is a monstrous wolf and an enemy to the gods. He is known in the myths as the one who maims Tyr by relieving him of his right hand, and as the killer of Odin during Ragnarok. After Fenrir devours the sun, as giant trees usually do, Yggdrasil, the world tree, shakes, and the Bifrost, which was the bridge between Midgard and Asgard, breaks. The gods prepare for battle, since they can see that everything is an utter mess. Odin, one of the first gods, battles the wolf Fenrir and loses. The Midgard serpent is killed by Thor, who in turn is poisoned by the serpent. The gods and their enemies battle, and they are falling here, there, and everywhere, until the giant Surtur starts the world fire and burns everything down. As in most foundation myths, there is a cyclical element, and with Norse mythology, the new world then rises from the sea. There were two separate groups of gods in Norse mythology, the larger family known as the Aesir, and the smaller and more mysterious family known as the Vanir. The term Aesir was used often when addressing the main group of gods. These main gods were mostly connected with the government and war, and included gods such as Odin, Thor, Loki, Balder, Hador, Heimdall, and Tyr. The Vanir were the gods associated with fertility, such as Nutjord, Freyr, and Freya. After the war between the two groups, known as the Vanir Wars or Aesir-Vanir Wars, the two groups were often both referred to as Aesir. Let's have a look at some of the most prominent gods from the pantheon: Odin, Frigg, Thor, Baldur, Loki, Freya and Freyr, and Heimdall. Odin was the head of the pantheon, king of the gods, and was associated with fate, wisdom, poetry, the dead, war, and the afterlife of Valhalla, where he welcomes fallen heroes to his hall. He is recognizable for his one eye, his spear named Gungnir, his ring Draupnir, which would create 8 more every 9 nights, and his 2 ravens, Hugnin and Munin, who would fly around the world and then sit on Odin's shoulder to tell him any news. Frigg was the wife of Odin, the mother of Baldur, and considered one of the main goddesses of the Aesir, sometimes referred to as the foremost among the goddesses. Thor was the god of the sky, thunder, and agriculture. He was married to the fertility goddess Sif, and is best known for his skill in killing giants with his powerful hammer, Mjolnir. Loki was known as the trickster god, and was the father of the Midgard the serpent, the Fenrir wolf, and Hel. The death of Baldur was caused by Loki, and although he lives among the Aesir, he is deceitful and disrupts the harmony of the gods. Baldur was the son of Odin and Frigg, and it was his death that was of much interest in surviving texts. Frigg made Baldur invulnerable to everything except for mistletoe. So, when Loki hands the blind god Hador, Baldur's half-brother, a branch of mistletoe to throw at the god, it kills Baldur, and he is left in the underworld after a failed attempt to retrieve him. Freya and Freyr were twin sister and brother. Freya is the best known and one of the most important goddesses from Norse mythology, and was also a fertility goddess. As Odin presided over Valhalla, which was reserved to fallen warriors, Freya was goddess of the common people's afterlife, of bright Folkvang, which contrasted with the dark world of Helheim, governed by the goddess Hel, daughter of Loki. Freyr was the main fertility god, and the most important god of the Vanir, due to his connection with wealth, harvests, sun, rain, and virility. Finally, we have Heimdall, whose main attribution was as guardian of the gods, and who sounds the horn in warning of Ragnarok. Heimdall signals the coming of the end, which is also a beginning, since Norse mythology was centered on the concept of renewal and cyclical change, not endings. Do you have a favorite Norse myth? Let us know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our new videos every Tuesday and Friday. As always, you can follow the links below to learn more about Norse mythology. This video was brought to you by World History Encyclopedia. For more great articles and interactive content, head to our website via the link below. World History Encyclopedia is a non-profit organisation, so if you'd like to support our work, you can head to our Patreon via the pop-up in the top corner of the screen or via the Patreon link down below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon with another video.